Very good morning, dear students. The next topic mentioned in your syllabus, biodegradation of xenobiotics, that is, most important types of persistent recalcitrant component. It is a typical example of halo alkane, and that is known as a polychlorinated biphenyls and their derivatives known as dioxins. This is one of the most potential recalcitrant or xenobiotics that is commonly studied in the ecosystem. And microbiology played a very vital role for the detoxification or biotransformation of this compound from the high toxic level to the lower toxic level. And let us see how the microbial degradation helps to provide a sustainable solution for polychlorinated biphenyls and dioxins degradation. And as an introduction, as you all know, dioxins and polychlorinated biphenyls, simply called it as PCBs, are toxic chemicals that persist in the environment and accumulate in the food chain and the food web. And this is a persistent organic pollutant, POPs. Okay, and these are commonly present in all types of food item that is directly obtained from the agricultural farm. Okay, and this long term exposure to these chemicals has been shown to cause severe impact or severe health conditions in human beings. That is, it leads to adverse effects on the central nervous systems, immune system and endocrine system, and the imbalance or the issues in the reproductive system as well. And their persistence and the fact that they accumulate in the food chain and generally in the form of animal fat, and therefore continue to cause some safety concerns, and they may very vulnerable agent to cause cancers. Okay, and these are the major impact of these two chemicals. Now we are going to discuss in detail about polychlorinated biphenyls or PCBs. These compounds are man-made compound, that is known as xenobiotics or recalcitrant, which belongs to the simplest class of organochloride. Okay, thus they are known as chlorinated hydrocarbons. Okay, halogenated hydrocarbon, which are the simplest form of organochloride. And this substance contains approximately 1 to 10 chlorine atom attached to two benzene ring. That is why it is known as polychlorinated biphenyl, two phenyl rings which are connected by a carbon-carbon bond at position number 1 and position number 1 dash, which result a biphenyl. Okay, the first position of the first 6-membered ring and the that is denoted as position number 1, and the next first position of the next 6-membered ring, that is denoted as position number 1 dash. Okay, and they are having a common chemical formula C12H10 X into ClX, that can be any number. Okay, then these are formed by the electrophilic chlorination of biphenyl rings with the chlorine gas. Okay, this is formed by the electrophilic chlorination of the biphenyl rings, okay, the benzene rings with the chlorine gas. And very interestingly, there are approximately 209 possible congener, okay, congeners are there among PCBs, and these congeners names are based on the specific number of chlorine substituents. Okay, how are you going to denote 209 possible? The name of the congener that is going to present in this particular polychlorinated biphenyls will illustrate the name of the PCB. Okay, and the position of each chlorine atom also, it is very important. Okay, and this is the general structure of polychlorinated biphenyls. Okay, as I said, this is position number 1, position number 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Okay, and you know that this is chlorine, this is chlorine, this is chlorine, this is chlorine, this is chlorine and this is chlorine. Okay, that is these chlorines are present in the ortho, para and meta position. Okay, the ortho, para and meta position we have already discussed the impact of the ortho, para, meta position for the biodegradation. Okay, if any chlorine which is present in the meta position, that will be blocked by the ortho and para position. That will be, that will leads to that will leads to the resistance to the biodegradation. Okay, and if the meta portion is not there, then ortho and para can easily break down. We have already seen 2,4-D. Okay, the degradation of 2,4-D, that is, it will take approximately 3 months, and you can see 5 trichloroethane, that you can see it will take 3 years. Just a presence of the presence instead of ortho and para, if it comes in the meta position, only one just a position, if you see a chlorine atom, then it will be very resistant to the degradation. So that is why it is known as a poly means multi. Okay, chloro. Okay, this is 1, 2, 3 multi-chloro biphenyl, 2 phenyl ring or 2 benzene ring. So this is the general structure of PCBs. Okay, and as I said, there are 209 different varieties of the PCBs, and as you can see, some of the most important structure of PCBs, they are dioxin like PCB, because they have a common structural properties, physical properties of dioxin also. Okay, and I told you the position of the functional group PCB 77, you can see the position of the functional group like this. When it is coming to PCB 105, see how the position. Okay, so there is how the position will be. Then PCB 156, okay, how the position will be here you can see. Okay, PCB in 81, you can see how the position is. Okay, then the PCB 114, then how the position is. PCB 157 and so on, 126, 118, okay, 167, 169, 123 and 189. There are similarly 209 different varieties of or permutations and combination. If you see, you will be able to get that particular possibilities. Okay, so that is the presence of the congener chlorine atoms. Okay, so this is the general structure of polychlorinated biphenyls. And the most potential problem when you talk about the polychlorinated biphenyls are the enormous amount of toxicity. Okay, the toxicity of any polychlorinated biphenyl congener is depending upon the number and position of the chlorine. Okay, the number and position of the chlorine in the biphenyl ring. Okay, so if the toxicities are very high, if the number of chlorine atoms that is attached to these particular positions are which will be high, then the toxicity also will be high. Let us see this particular example: PCB 77, PCB 105 and PCB 156. Okay, here you can see among this one, PCB 156 has a lot of toxicity than this component, because it has got 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7 chlorine residues, but here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and here it is 5. Then you can see 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, in this example only the least one is this one. Okay, PCB 77, because it has got only 4 chlorine atom. Okay, and this is intermediate and so on. Okay, so that is what I told. Here the number of the toxicity is mainly depending upon the number of chlorine, with the chlorine in the ortho position of the ring. Okay, that means you say 2, 2 dash, 6 and 6 dash. Okay, and less toxic than the non-ortho or mono-ortho PCBs. Okay, the main thing is like number of the toxicity is based on the number of chlorine. That is first fact. The second one is the number of chlorines in the ortho position of each ring. It is 2 and 2 dash and 6 and 6 dash. If the toxicity will be very very high, if the chlorine atom satisfies this particular position. And because of all these problems, okay, the United States of America Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, they considered as PCB as a priority pollutant, okay, priority pollutant, and which is the probable human carcinogen also, and this is a probable human carcinogen, which is a cancer causing substance. And the potential the potential concern in the ecosystem due to the PCB is the biomagnification, how it is entering to the food chain and food web. For example, the aquatic ecosystem, okay, there will be industries situated, most of the industrial debris are simply thrown up to the aquatic system. Okay, and here you can see the factories and the automobile industries and such kind of places. You will be having lot of polychlorinated biphenyls have been generating, and that particular polyphenol diphenyl will be, as soon as it will reach to the surface, there will be lot of small phytoplankton such as algae, small fish, okay, all such kind of organism, they will be absorbed. Then it will be taken up by the zooplankton, in which they eat the phytoplankton, okay, small animals. And you can see this red dot indicates the concentration of PCB. When it is reached to the small level, okay, the number seems to be increases actually, and it is eating by the prawn, okay, and small fish, okay. Then the zooplankton eating the zooplankton that will be eaten by the little bit small fish. You can see the number again still increasing, and this particular fish will be act as a food for salmon. Okay, there will be number of okay, here you can see number of the concentration of the pollutant, the PCBs are enhancing, and this fish will be acting as a food for this big fish. Okay, and you can see large mammals. Okay, and for example, whales, okay, they eat salmon. Okay, and here you can see this pollutant accumulated from one system to another system, and with the increase in the concentration in the parts per billion. Okay, and that is known as biomagnification. The potential problem of this particular pollutant is biomagnification. Okay, I hope you understood from this particular examples. Then next one is dioxins and their impact. Dioxins are also a group of chemically related compound that is almost similar to chlorinated biphenyl, because here the number of phenyl rings are increases. Okay, and this one also acts as the persistent environmental pollutants. Okay, and this is found throughout the world, the environment, and accumulate in the food chain, mainly in the fatty acid tissue of the animal. The fatty acid tissue of the animal can absorb a lot of dioxins, and more than 90% of the human exposure is that is happening through the food. Okay, mainly the meat and dairy product, fish and shellfish. Okay, like PCBs, dioxins are also highly toxic and can cause the reproductive and developmental damages. Okay, damage to the immune system. It will be interference to the hormone synthesis. Okay, and cause cancer. So this one also acts as the carcinogenic component. Okay, so due to the high toxic potential, there are lot of effort which is required to undertaken to reduce the toxicity of this particular component. Okay, both the PCBs and the dioxins. Okay, that is why environmental microbiology plays a very vital role. And again, these are the different types of dioxins. Okay, here polychlorinated dibenzo paradioxin, that is PCDDS, or dioxin, simply call it as dioxin. Similarly, polychlorinated dibenzofuran, or PCDFS, okay, furans, okay, these are the fundamental or most abundant dioxins are commonly present, okay. Next one is polybrominated compound, 1,4-dioxins. Next one is a polychlorinated biphenyl. This is also not exactly dioxin, but is related with the dioxin. But there are lot of PCBs are dioxin like PCBs are present. Okay, here you can see polychlorinated dibenzo P dioxins. Okay, PCDD. Here you can see 3-ring system. Okay, Cl, that is M and N are the numbers. Okay, here you can see that is oxygenated. Okay, here you can see oxygenated. It is polychlorinated dibenzofuran. Here you can see, here it is a 6-membered ring, but it is a, the difference is here it is the middle ring is a 5-membered ring with one oxygen. Okay, the polychlorinated dibenzofuran. Okay, and this we have already seen, polychlorinated biphenyls. This is 2 6-membered rings and a chlorine. Okay, number of chlorines can be, and this is the N is the number of chlorine atom which is present in this ring system, and the M is the number of chlorine that is possibly present in this particular ring system. And 1,4-dioxin, here you can see first position and fourth position there is a oxygen, hence it is known as dioxins. Okay, so here you can see why it is known as dioxin, because the presence of oxygen. So these are the different types of dioxin. And because of all this problem in which this particular recalcitrant creating to the ecosystem, there is much emergency and much need to study the biodegradation of this particular component and develop excellent methodology using environmental microbiology as the as the shortcut. Okay, so here we are having various methods. People have been trying their level best to degrade or detoxify this component by using traditional approaches such as high temperature and incineration or burial. Okay, so burial, high temperature incinerations are a common method in which traditionally people have been using, but it requires lot of land, okay, lot of spaces, and this is will not be completely degraded. There are a lot of problems, okay, lot of side effects, okay, all those problems are there actually. Then chemical and physical approaches are also there, such as dispersion, sorption, and soil washing, solvent extraction, and abiotic transformation. Okay, so both chemical and physical methods are commonly present, but this also has got some side effect, because none of the method we can effectively remove this particular substance. So then that is why biotechnology came to a most important role here, especially environmental microbiology. Why can't we utilize the bacteria? Anyway, this bacteria or fungi or actinomyces, they are having an ability to detoxify, degrade. They can, yesterday we have discussed the enzymatic synthesis, okay, dehalogenase enzyme they can produce, monooxygenase they can produce, dioxygenase they can produce, and using the enzyme they can cleave this particular bonds, and they can utilize these compounds are the source of sole source of carbon. So biological method, especially microbiological intervention, is very, very important. Okay, so the microorganisms are very, very important, and microbial consortia, group of microorganisms, as I said, one organism is incapable to do the function, because the biodegradation has 2 steps. One is gratuitous degradation and co-metabolism. Co-metabolism require a co-metabolite. Okay, gratuitous degradation can utilize many bacteria can or a microorganism can come together and play a very vital role, and they can degrade this component together, okay, such as bacteria, fungi, etc. So microbial consortia is very, very important. Co-culture. Then these are the important thing. Among microbial biotechnological approaches, microbiological approaches are very, very important. Both aerobic and anaerobic degradations are very, very important. In aerobic and anaerobic degradation, we will discuss later. One of the 2 important examples such a kind of approaches are known as biostimulation. What we have to do is we have to add nutrients to the soil, and we have to simulate the indigenous population that is normally present in the soil as a soil flora, and you have to motivate those soil to degrade the PCBs or dioxins commonly present in the soil. That is known as a biostimulation. Stimulate the growth of indigenous microorganisms. Okay, useful microorganisms. Next one is bio-augmentation. You collect all this waste material that is rich in polychlorinated biphenyls or dioxins or any other components, nitroaromatics, all such kind of components, and what you have to do is you have to prepare the bacterial culture. They are able to degrade this toxic components and prepare the culture in a bulk quantity. They should not have a environmental impact, okay, should not have environmental impact, okay, and you have to add the culture to such kind of a site. So addition of microorganism to a highly polluted environment that has contaminated with the polychlorinated biphenyls are known as bio-augmentation, okay. That is the next important method. Then more clearly, the most important mechanisms are, this we have already discussed yesterday, okay, the bacterial co-metabolism, okay, both aerobic and anaerobic process can be used. Aerobic process in presence of oxygenated process, and anaerobic process in the absence of oxygen, the presence of carbon dioxide also can be used. So both the bacteria and fungi can be used for this particular thing. Bacterial co-metabolism and fungal co-metabolism, okay, can be used, okay, and bacterial mineralization, okay, these components can be converted into lot of minerals, okay, that we have yesterday we have discussed, okay. This is one important approach. The next one is the anaerobic methods, mainly that is this PCBs are highly toxic. So using this anaerobic organism, they will be having the enzyme, and this enzyme will be performed a transformation. What is the transformation? The high toxic component to the lower toxic component, because they will degrade. How the toxicity will be released? Once the halogen part, if it is removed from the polychlorinated biphenyls, then what will happen? Toxicity automatically will be released, actually removed, okay. So so that is what this microorganism does. Microorganism will degrade the other part and they will be removed the chlorine, okay. So the component as a result become less toxic, and or they will be converted into some other biochemical pathway into product, okay. We have discussed yesterday the mechanism, reductive halogenation, okay. Reductive dehalogenation is the major anaerobic process of this particular PCBs. Please note that biodegradation process for the different substances are not having that much different. The processes are almost similar, but only little bit the enzymatic changes or enzymatic differences are there, and the microorganism they play a role also, differences are there. Approaches are the same, okay. These are the major important mechanism for the PCB degradation, okay. Then this is what the general bioreactor pathway. I classified that as an upper step or middle step and lower step, okay. This which I have taken from a beautifully published paper, okay. That is very easy to understand that, okay. So here you can see the halogenated aromatic compound that can be phenoxyacetate, organophosphate, or polyhalogenated biphenyls, all those things, okay. First one, the debranching, okay, branching will be removed, and the ring breakage, the breakage of the phenyl ring will be broken. The second one, simple halogenated aromatic components, okay, they convert this one into halogenated benzene, halogenated phenol, halogenated aniline, and halogenated benzoate, okay. So once the complex halogenated or aromatic compounds will be converted into simple halogenated compounds by microbial attack, this is the upper step, okay. Then the middle step, both the dehalogenation and hydroxylation will happen, okay. So due to this particular process, the benzene ring and such a kind of 6-membered ring will be cleaved, okay. Central metabolites will be produced, okay, such as catechol or hydroxyquinone or protocationate, okay. Catechol and protocationates are the major end product in most of the degradative pathway, okay. That is the middle part. Once this particular component is produced, that is very easy to undergo the oxidation or reduction, and it will reach into any of the biochemical process such as TCA cycle or beta oxidation. Finally they will be able to cleave and produce the simplest component. So this is the most important step, that is known as a middle step, okay. So next one is the ring cleavage. So what will happen? Catechol and hydroxyquinone, okay, and the protocationate also have the ring cleavage. Okay, that ring is there. That ring will be cleaved by the microbial enzymes. Okay, then the common metabolites such as acetyl-CoA, pyruvic acid, succinic acid, oxaloacetic acid, and acetaldehyde will be produced. You can see that all these components are very common elements in the either glycolysis or citric acid cycle or pentose phosphate pathway or any other pathway you can see. Okay, and it will enter and will convert, it will take part, the degradation will be happening to that particular pathway. The microorganism will be getting the ATP for their further growth. So this is the overall biodegradation mechanism of polychlorinated biphenyls and dioxins. Okay, then I told you what are the major microorganisms they perform this particular task. The major microorganisms are bacteria. Both anaerobic bacteria and aerobic bacteria are there. Okay, both anaerobic bacteria, aerobic bacteria. So anaerobic bacteria dechlorination. I'm sorry, there is a typographical error. Okay, is missing. Okay, anaerobic dechlorination is one of the important thing. Dechlorination will be happening. The most important organisms are Clostridium, D-halococoids, okay, D-sulfobacterium, D-sulfomonili, okay, D-sulfuromonas, D-halospirillum, sulfospirillum, chloroflexi. Okay, these are the this will perform anaerobic the dechlorination, removal of chlorine from these PCBs from an anaerobic condition. Similarly, we are having aerobic dechlorination also. Okay, chlorination will be performed in an aerobic condition. The most important player is Pseudomonas. Okay, Pseudomonas, so many Pseudomonas foetida, Pseudomonas syringae. Okay, all those organisms. Arthrobacter, Bacillus, amyloliquefaction, Bacillus cereus, Bacillus subtilis. Okay, and so many Bacillus species. The Acromonas, Acromobacter. Okay, Acinetobacter. Okay, then alkali-genes. Okay. Another organism alkali-gene viscolatis. Okay, one important organism. Okay, Spingomonas. Okay, a group of member of Pseudomonas family, Spingomonas. And next one is Rhodococcus. Okay, Rhodococcus is another very, very important organism. Okay, Rhodococcus rubber is very, very important organism. Then Chemomonas. Okay, Chemomonas is a member of Pseudomonas. As most popular organism is Chemomonas testosterone. Okay, so that is also very, very important. Then Bergeringia, okay, this one also is one of the important soil bacteria. Then Cupravides, okay, so Cupravides metallodurans, okay, so that is very, very important organism. Okay, then Bacteroidea, okay, so next one Ralstonia. Okay, so these are the major important aerobic bacteria. They are performing the dechlorination. Next one is fungi. Okay, fungi also, they are filamentous fungi, especially Phanerochaetae. Okay, one popular organism, well studied fungi called Phanerochaetae, Chrysosporium. Okay, Jarkandaria. Okay, Pleurotus. Okay, that is mushrooms. Okay, Trametus. Okay, Rhizobium. Okay, so I mean, sorry, this is not a fungi. Okay, Rhizobium is a bacteria, is a Rhizopus. Okay, it's not Rhizobium, it's Rhizopus. Okay, so these are the, I mean, another important organism. Okay, please note that this is Rhizopus. Okay, so next important one is how this biodegradation is happening. Okay, biodegradation is happening. Biodegradation mechanism is happening using PCBs. Okay, polychlorinated biphenyl. I will take a typical example. Okay, a biodegradation pathway of polychlorinated biphenyls, PCBs by Pseudomonas species. Okay. So here you can see this is PCBs, okay, 2 chlorine, benzene ring. Then this Pseudomonas will secrete. There are 3 pathways, as I said, the upper pathway, middle pathway, and lower pathway. We have discussed in the previous slide. Okay, in the upper pathway, what will happen? There is a major, changes are there. Okay, the major things. Okay, so that means you say BPHA. There is an enzyme called as biphenyl 2,3 dioxygenase. Okay, along with BPHB. Okay, biphenyl dihydrodiol dehydrogenase. Okay, so BPHB. Okay, there is an aerobic process I told you. Then what will happen? Here 2 position. Okay, this will add a hydroxyl group. Here you can see hydroxyl groups are added. Then it become 2,3 dihydroxy polychlorinated biphenyls. Okay, then again it will be aerated by another organism, oxygenated PHC. What is that? That is another enzyme 2,3 dihydroxy biphenyl, 1,2 dioxygenase. Okay, again dioxygenase. Then what will happen? This will add the COOH group here, and then it will be cleaved. Okay, this will be cleaved. It will become hydroxyl group, and the oxygen will be shared here, and this bond will be cleaved. So this is 2-hydroxychlor 6-oxo 6-phenyl hexa 2,4 dieno 8. Okay, so that is the thing. Next one is the the cleavage will happen, the major cleavage. Okay, that is known as the 2-hydroxychlor 6-oxo 6-phenyl hexa 2,4 dieno ethylodrolase. Okay, ethylodrolase. Okay, so that is BPHD. Okay, there will be a formation or removal of water will takes place. Then you can see here it will cleave. Okay, this ring, then COOH. Okay, this will be, then it will be cleave this particular ring. Okay, then you can see here COOH, and that is chlorobenzoic acid will be produced, and 2-hydroxychlorpenta 2,4 dionate will be produced. Okay, so this is the upper pathway. Then once this pathway is done, then coenzyme A will be added. ATP, it's an ATP dependent process. Then what will happen? This OH will be removed. Then instead of OH, the CoA will be going and substituted. So here you can see CSCOA. Okay, so that will be able to, you can see here, and that is 4-chlorobenzoyl CoA. Okay, then what will happen? Dehalogenase enzyme will be taking into picture. There the water will be added, then chlorine will be released out. Okay, and this particular chlorine, please note that when chlorine is removed, the toxicity of the compounds are decreasing. So this chlorine will be removed from this particular ring system. Then what will happen? Here you can see this ring system, then O, then SCO, then 4-hydroxybenzoyl CoA. Okay, then what will happen? This SOCOA will be released out. Okay, SOCA will be released out. Okay, then you will be able to get, here you can see, then here COOH. Okay, this is 4-hydroxybenzoic acid, 4-hydroxybenzoate you can see. Then hydroxylates you can see, they will be adding oxygen, then converted into water molecule. Here what you can see, then it will be adding hydrogen, then this will be, this particular portion there will be hydroxyl group. Okay, then later that is known as proto-cashewnate, that I told you the major intermediate that is present in this particular pathway, either catechol or proto-cashewnate. Sometimes it will be proto-cashewnate, the proto-cashewnate will be produced. Then next one, carboxymuconic acid. Here you can see the ring will be cleaved from here. Okay, then it becomes COO. Okay, here you can see one end there is a carboxylic acid group, another end there is a carboxylic acid group, another end there is a carboxylic acid group. Carboxymuconic acid or carboxymuconate, because minus charge. Okay, if H is there, that is acid. Then beta, again it will be beta keto adipic acid. Okay, beta keto adipic acid. Here what you can see, because one keto group it is a here C double bond O. Okay, the other things are here this bond is shifted here, and oxygen is removed actually. Okay, then that is beta keto adipate. Finally this component will be entered into citric acid cycle and finally converted into 6 molecules of ATP, that 16 molecule of carbon dioxide, that will be entered into electron transport system, and it will produce the ATP for the path. And this is the lower pathway, and this is the middle pathway. Okay, this is the beautiful mechanism how we can narrate the biodegradation of polychlorinated biphenyls. Okay, and this is all about dear students, we can conclude today. So we have discussed what is the introduction of dioxins and polychlorinated biphenyls, PCBs, and polychlorinated biphenyls. Okay, we have discussed the structural features and the types and detrimental impact. Okay, we have discussed. Then the polychlorinated biphenyl toxicity that created the polychlorinated biphenyls, especially the biomagnification. Then the dioxins and their major types. Okay, and the detrimental impact also it is a given. Okay, the biodegradation of polychlorinated biphenyls and dioxins. Okay, the biodegradation of polychlorinated biphenyls. Okay, Then the major mechanism of polychlorinated biphenyls degradation. Okay. Then the general biodegradation pathway of PCBs and dioxins. Okay, we have discussed. And what all are the major bacteria and fungi. Okay, that we have discussed. Okay. Then the biodegradation mechanism of PCBs. The biodegradation mechanism of PCBs by taking Pseudomonas as a typical example we have discussed. So this is all about today's class. Okay. So if you are having any clarification, you can ask me. As I mentioned, these are the references that is illustrated in your syllabus. Okay. So thank you very much for listening this particular class. If you are having any clarification, you can ask me. Okay. Thank you very much once again.